All right, all right, all right, all right. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I usually try to stream it on my other computer, on my other window here, and I don't see myself here. So anyway, it shows y'all are here. So why am I not here? Why can I not see what's going on here? Hmm. Anyway, let's see. While I'm here, let's find out. All right, Anthony Drosos. Thank you so much. Anyone else who's in the chat, make sure you say hello so I can acknowledge you, and I appreciate it. Again, this was a video that was sent to me. It's not like I'm out here looking for this stuff. It was sent to me, and so we're going to review it a little bit later. If you are not a member of the, well, obviously you guys are members. So let's see. Yeah, this is members only, right? Yeah. So let's see. Audio podcast. Make sure you go over to audio podcast wherever people listen to audio podcasts. Wherever you listen to audio podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, iTunes. My Dr. L's podcast should be there. I think I have the logo here, what it looks like. I should have that. No, I don't. Anyway, so here's one of them. Let me see if I can add the other overlay here for podcast. Hope everyone is well and staying cool. Make sure you guys are drinking a lot of water because it is extremely hot where I am. So you go over to iTunes, you go over to Spotify, wherever else you listen to podcasts at. Dr. L's podcast will be up there. You catch the audios. And also there's a lot of older stuff. I've been kind of doing stuff since 2019. So what you can do is you can go over there and listen to old police related stuff. And I'm going to be getting back into more police related stuff on my other channel. It was called LMH Consulting Services. I changed it to Dr. L's Breakdown, and I'm going to be breaking down more police videos. I got a lot of friends of mine who've been sending me some police related videos, so I'm going to stick more with that. Hello to you, Rhonda. Let's see. Hit the like button. Awaiting some interesting information. Absolutely, Lorelei. Jayla Ford, hello. Trust all is well. Yeah, listen, I hope you guys are really staying cool, drinking a lot of water, staying inside, all that kind of stuff, So it is really, really hot out there. Good evening to you, Blue Sapphire. So again, these are videos that were sent to me, and so we're gonna check them out and review them. I have not watched them yet. I do have a couple of warm-up videos that I did watch, but the other stuff I have not watched. All right, so let's jump into it here. I don't want to be here all night, so we're going to add this to the stage here at share screen. I'm going to go to Instagram. Have you all heard about B. Simone, who I never heard about until this incident? I guess she's a comedian, actor, philanthropist, and all this kind of stuff. Apparently now she's been going viral because now apparently she's broke, or at least she doesn't have the amount of money that she once had. So all that. So let me also say this here. I got Sage members. If you are a Sage member, you get special shout outs. Here is your shout outs. If you're not on that, I don't know, send me a quick message or something so I can make sure I put you on there. I didn't check it today, but I want to make sure that I do acknowledge all the Sage members. And if you don't see your name there and you're a member and you're not a Sage member, well, become a Sage member. You can get a special shout out. You get your name scrolled across the screen there. So let's see. Yes, I've heard of her. I don't know much about her though. Yeah. So she's going viral for saying that she used to shop at Bloomingdale's or Bloomington or something like that, and now she is got to shop at H&M. Oh, God forbid. God forbid. I just remember KRS-One giving her a shout out on an old album, unless she's a different B. Simone. It's got to be a different one because this one's in her 30s. I don't remember. I don't think it's that KRS. So anyway, so Thursday, Yoli, our very own Yoli, is going to give us some financial advice. He's coming on to talk about financial advice, making good decisions, and I'm going to play a little bit more of her being B. Simone when I talk about that, because I want to talk about making good financial decisions. Doesn't make any good sense to have a good job, have a good career, and all this other stuff, and then don't have any money. So here's a little bit of what this lady B Simone has been saying.
Everything I have, my dream career, I manifested it. I'm trying to manifest a husband. Ain't nothing wrong with a nigga with a 9 to 5. I get it. They work hard. I used to have a 9 to 5. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. You work hard, you have money. I get it. I need an entrepreneur. I need somebody that understands my mindset. Somebody that has the same lifestyle. It has to do with money, everything to do with lifestyle. Okay? When I'm in the bed at 3 a.m. checking emails, what you doing, babe? Working. What you doing? Working. Okay, love you. You want to hop on a flight tomorrow? I have a meeting in out of town. You want to go? You got okay? Let's go. Okay, you understand my life. You understand what I'm going through. I want to manifest that. What do you want in a man? What do you want? Let's start there. What do you want? Let's manifest it, baby. You can have it. Whatever you want, you can have it. Manifest that shit. Ain't nothing wrong with a nigga with a 9 to 5. Ain't nothing wrong with an entrepreneur ass nigga. Manifest whatever you want. I want to manifest an entrepreneur ass husband. I don't care what you do. Entrepreneur, graphic designer, sell t-shirts, sell drugs, rapper. You could be a rapper. I'm becoming rapper, D-list. I don't give a fuck. Entrepreneur, okay? At this point, I'm about to rebuy my book. I'm about to rebuy my book so I can manifest my husband. Everything I have, my dream career, I manifested it.
So that's this grown adult child here. And I'm looking for a message that Anita sent me. Because she said something about women being extremely juvenile. And I wanted to play what she sent me. Did I save this? Let me remove this here.
For them,
Did I save this here? Let me save this. All right, so let's go back over here. And we're going to play this. So this what she's talking about here is her manifesting. She was manifesting a husband who is an entrepreneur, downgrading the guy who works 9 to 5 because she wants to be able to roll over at 3 a.m. in the morning, scroll through her text, scroll through her feeds, whatever she's doing, and be able to make these moves at 3 o'clock in the morning and not be hindered by the clock. I actually don't have a problem with that. I think that she ought to be trying to do the best that she can do. So, did she kind of disrespect the 9 to 5 guy? Some would take it that way. She did eventually say that there's nothing wrong with the 9 to 5 guy. However, some people just kind of rubbed it the wrong way. Now, that was a video that she made before. I'll see if I can find the video of her talking about how she's broke now, or she can't shop at the same places that she used to shop at. Let me see if I have it here. Let's see. Let me play this one first here. We're asking a question. What happened to our women? Tell me apparently this is a school teacher. Tell me, is there anything you seeing anything wrong? We got 25 members in here. Wow. Tell me if you see anything wrong about this image, this video that I'm about to send you. This is a teacher. You all tell me what you see wrong if you see anything about that. So This is her from nerves on day from nerves on day one to finding my stride by spring. Here's a look back at the outfits that got me through my first year in the classroom. Guess she's a brand new teacher, right? I really didn't. This is my, I guess I'm the last one to comment on this. I commented 4 days ago. The best comments I've seen in a long time. It's a shame that has happened to our culture, but this comment section gives me hope. The frustration is that we as a culture have no way to hold our own accountable. As one educator rightly said, without a dress code enforced by the man, this is what we get teaching our kids. It's really a shame. And there's, a bunch of other comments here of telling her, you would think this is a flex, it's just content for me. Stop projecting. One thing about our women today, where there's an audience, they'll redirect attention to themselves, even if dressing inappropriately in front of a class of young, impressionable minds. Needing attention is at an all-time high. Beautiful women, but not being married says a lot. Move how you move, queen, but we see the truth. Plus, you prove that you do this for the attention by simply replying to every comment. You're waiting for them DMs to fill up and some simp to offer the world. Just be beautiful as you are, and you may be a great catch, but you have to change your thinking. You're dealing with kids, and we know kids these days are very mature in the mind. Just saying. If the kids are mature, then what's going on with the ladies here? Let me see what you all are saying. Let's see. Let's see. Greetings to you, High Vibe. Greetings, New York Chocolate. More with less. She sounds so immature. That was that was the other one there. Let's see who else is here. Those painted on pants would better suit the club. She got the boys' attention in class. Yeah, they probably can't even stand up, Little, I don't know what grade she's teaching, but when you start hitting puberty as a little boy, you catch them them involuntaries all the time. You'd be bricked up in class all the time. Crazy. See, why is she doing this at work? Hello to you, Blondie. People are infatuated with pictures. She dresses like she's about to hit up more mature students. I bet it got her through. NW, hello. Deborah Hutchinson, hello. Dress for happy hour. Miles, what's going on? It has come to this for some teachers, and then we can't figure out why a lot of these teachers are sleeping with the students. King Ghidorah crushing on my seeds teacher. This is why men turning into passport bros. Fix it, Black Jesus. Is she trying to become another teacher bae? Teacher bae. No, she wants the attention. It's a buster for her. Yeah, she's just out of it there. Let's see, remove this here. All right, I think I got like one more, and then we'll get to the main events for the evening here. This one absolutely confused me. I'll put this one up here. This lady absolutely confused me. Hold on. Add to stage. Did she dress like this during student teaching? This speaks more of the administration permitting this dress. Yeah, so that was one of the comments. There was another educator in the comments addressing this, that this is the administration's fault, So,
beware of liberal men. They are just as dangerous as the super conservative ones, because those men are telling you they're using feminism against you. Feminism is about choice, but they're literally saying, well, you want it to be equal. Okay, go ahead and pay for your own shit. Go ahead and pay. Okay, you want it to be equal. Well, go ahead and work. Why do I have to take care of you? Why do I have to spend money? Why do I have to pay for things? You want to be equal? You can be equal. While we are still not equal in society, in any society across the globe, in any country across the globe. And then on top of that, they don't share the emotional burdens, the mental burdens, the physical burdens, the burden of pregnancy, the burdens of the dangers that we face in society by other men that they don't stand up to. Be very, very, very careful, because that's very dangerous. A liberal man's going to sit there and tell you, oh, I support your rights. Oh, yeah, I support you getting everything. because he doesn't want to do those things for you. He's thinking from an actual perspective where he is extremely selfish. A liberal man is just as dangerous as a conservative man. Okay? You want one in between. You want one outside of those catalogs. Okay? Think for yourself. Again, ask them what their values are, why they think that. If I'm equal to you, then what is your fucking purpose? Let's not forget.
Listen, I can't understand these ladies in their logic. You can't. You're too conservative. You're not conservative enough. We're equal, but then we're not equal. But I want you to pay for the first date. Eric Deadman, what's going on? We were never equal with men. Men will always be different and should. I just don't understand this lady, right? But then she doesn't want to be. I guarantee you, she doesn't want to be objectified. But she's making sure her breasts are in the picture. What is going on? What is going on? It's bizarre the way that these people are thinking. It's just bizarre. All right, so this is a lady who is saying that ladies today, I'm not saying this, are emotionally immature. So I'd like to hear your opinions about this. Come on.
Is optional. Oh, they decide what reality is based on how they feel. So if I feel that you're disrespecting me, you don't love me, that's a fact for the emotionally immature person. They're not objective at all.
And there's no taking them off that. There's no changing their minds.
No, because they deny, dismiss, or distort any information they don't want to hear. And if you are the kind of person who is self-reflective, that's almost impossible to get your head around, that someone could do life in that way.
Or not take it on somehow and take on the burden of being the fixer.
Precisely. For them, reality is optional.
Oh.
They decide what reality is based on how they feel. So if I feel that you're disrespecting me, you don't love me, that's a fact for the emotionally immature person. They're not objective at all.
And there's no taking them off that. There's no changing their minds.
No, because they deny, dismiss, or distort any information they don't want to hear. And if you are the kind of person who is self-reflective, that's almost impossible to get your head around, that someone could do life in that way.
Or not take it on somehow and take on the burden of being the fixer.
Precisely. For them, reality.
Yeah, I'm definitely a self-reflective person. I think about everything I say, do, and I'm constantly, making sure that I'm not offensive to people, that my words mean something. And when people just kind of just spit stuff out and just based on feelings, it really frustrates me. So a lady sent me that clip, this last clip, and she was talking about, she said, this is most women today. It was a lady who sent it to me. So, all right, one more warm-up clip and we'll get into the main event for the evening here. I really do thank you guys for joining up. I really appreciate it. Let's see.
So big shout out to white women for being the most entertaining thing online. Just always with... Trauma cannot survive in the sunlight. Healing energy dances like a hummingbird over the flames of sorrow. Hashtag self-love. And you're like, damn, it sounds like this poor gal has really been through some shit. And then you learn she's like a 35-year-old trust fund baby whose parents pay her rent to support her dream of running a boutique wellness center that's only open on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 1 and 3. But in her mind, she's as inspirational as like the president from Independence Day or the damn Jamaican bobsled team. White women during Pride, though, is like Popeye after eating a gallon of spinach. Like they'll share a story about a gay guy in 1970s Wyoming who was beaten to death with a tire iron and then be like, this is what we go through every day. Even though she's not actually gay at all, she has a husband and a charcuterie business. but she drunkenly kissed her sorority sister back in 2009. And being a persecuted gay lady isn't her life at all. Her life is crying when not enough people like her Instagram post showing off her new fucking Indiana Jones hat. Shit, dude. So big shout out.
So I thought that was pretty entertaining. This guy was just sick of it, right? He's sick of the false, victimhood of a lady who's a trust fund baby and, Black Lives Matter and this and that. And, she, thinking that they're, just oppressed victimhood of people and just, I don't even know what charcuterie classes or glass. I don't even know what that is. And I've seen people like that. I've met people like that, just flower children, just crazy. It's crazy. All right. So this was sent to me by High Vibe. I finally got to her video here. We'll remove this, stop screen share. And High Vibe sent me this. Thank you to this. So this is a couple of guys who have been going viral on the internet here, on the interwebs here. And Eggs and Grits or something like that. One of these guys. And they're talking about what's going on here. Grits and Eggs podcast here. And so they're talking about, their women and our love for women and how we're treating women and how we're disrespecting them and things along those lines. Charcuterie business. Yeah, exactly. Bill Barr has a similar skit. Yeah, his was hilarious. They took their Gucci footed boots and swung them over the gates of oppression and just what is going on? What is going on here? All right. So this is a couple of guys. We're just going to watch a little bit of this. This is not the main event for the evening here, but we will get to a little bit of this.
Every time that you have something to say, it happens all the time. It
ain't nothing like a committed relationship that'll make you, because that's the thing. Oftentimes people find it hard to commit because the honeymoon phase, it feels good, but like when you start dealing with some shit that when some shit start coming up that you've been afflicted with since childhood, start rearing its head in your relationship, you can't run away from that shit. So either you run away from the relationship altogether or you deal with it head on.
Right. This is what it is. Always
is what it is.
Because my apostle put it like this: it's like a man is somebody who's willing to face himself. Right now, and it don't matter how he show up. Right? Like, because some guys only want to face the part of themselves that's likable. Now, I mean, even people dispute that, so you might as well see the rest of it.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. That's why I've never hid anything. Like, it's a dude right now. Like, I'm open about the addiction I dealt with in my mid to late 20s. I'm open about SA that I dealt with in my childhood. I'm open about like a lot of my flaws and a lot of things that have afflicted and traumatized me. And the reason why the thing is like, there's an understanding here. Like, we can only go through so many unique experiences, right? Yeah. So if you open up about the shit, you're going to realize how many people have been afflicted with these same things. Yeah. So it also will allow men. I used to wonder why I was so like hypersexual, right? Like, especially like as a young man, like 16, 17, 18, like 19, only thing I'm thinking about is sex. Like, it's literally like controlling my life, right? But then you go back and you look at that situation that happened to you when you was 8, when you exposed to it before you supposed to be, and then you start hiding it. You hide that away. But when I came out about it and said something about it, look at all the men that came out behind it and talked about SA that they dealt with in childhood. You know what I'm saying? That has informed how they view sexuality. You feel me? Not only sexuality, whether that be man to man or man to woman, but also like how they deal with sex and why. You understand what I'm saying? And then you get a conversation like that I had maybe 6 to 8 months ago. And now you get YG, who's a rapper, who's talking about it in his music. Right. But we don't want to come across as victims of anything, right? And because that word has been so stigmatized and weaponized to keep people quiet. Like, we don't want to talk about race because, we got to stop being victims. It's like, no, whether natural reality is, niggas is victims of that shit.
Yeah. People face that. It's just what it looks like.
Real shit. It just is what it is. Yeah. It don't make me a victim. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to take on that mentality of weakness, I ain't weak, nigga.
Right.
But
you was able to look. See, like, I always think like a good line is like whoever looks into the abyss and blinks first. And usually nowadays we see men blink before women a lot of the time, looking at the abyss, and it happens, right? Like, and the thing is that you got to understand that who dug this hole wasn't us. That's something that the oppressive system did. Right?
Yeah.
Like all the stuff we went through in Black society, a lot of people think that that's just us freestyling as Black people. Who did this? Who did that? Like, nah, they ain't come from us. What's the name? That's one thing. One of my biggest denounces. I'm like, I always denounce Black patriarchy because Black, like we not in control of all the things that happen in our lives. That, like, my dad had to lose 3 jobs. That was in his control, his instability, or was he Black and it was easier to fire him in 2007? It just.
Well, here's the other thing too. Like when you start talking about that Black patriarchy, then you start getting into niggas saying we was kings, but it's like we're gonna ignore all the queens.
I guess everybody was sent alone, huh? I guess everybody was alone there. It was an all brother field. It was, the women they see women as something important. They don't see women as something impressive.
See, this is the thing too. It's like like
so these guys they went famous for this is members only, right? You guys are all members only, or did I mess this up? So I gotta check this. This is members only, right? Let's see. So is it? Did I mess this up? There's a lot of people in here. Y'all all better be members. So these two are members only. Okay, members only, yes. Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all. It's like 39, 40 members in here. Okay. Oh, I know that. All right. It's not members only. All right. Well, we're in it now, right? So this is supposed to be in a members only thing here. Anyway, how did I mess that up? Dang. Anyway, I didn't want to get any strikes. That's why I did this. So anyway, well, I'm not a member and I'm in. Yeah. So obviously it's not. Well, we're in it now. So, geez, how did I mess that up, man? Is your personality keeping you? I clicked on the wrong one. Dang it. This is the wrong one. Oh, man. Dang. Oh, man. Now I got to set up this thing for tomorrow morning again. Is your personality keeping you single? Dang. All right. Anyway, so we're in it right now. If I'm not able to become a member because of my location. All right. So these two guys went famous. Well, one of the light-skinned guy, went famous for really kind of standing up for women and really kind of blaming men for the different disrespect that a lot of men were coming into. The lot of disrespect that women were facing at the hands of men who did not dang. I'm really mad. Sterling Doug. What do I want to do? Listen, I'm going to finish the statement and I'm going to go to the members only because I want to play some stuff. And I do apologize to anyone who's watching this, but I meant this to be members only. So anyway, let me finish this thought. So this guy's went viral for talking about men not standing up for women. So a lot of guys were pushing back on that. And so this is what they were talking about here. And they're still kind of talking in circles here, in my estimation. I don't think that they are speaking anything that's really novel here. So no, don't be glad. Oh man, I'm really mad at myself. I don't know how I did that. All right. No, I'm not going to kick you out. I'm really mad at myself. Because now I got to set up this thing for tomorrow. I set this thing up. I set up what happened to women and all this kind of stuff. So really mad. This is why I can't teach my daughter how to dress professional and not slutty. I'm sorry. This is why I can't. So to your point there, Melissa, I assume you're talking about the young lady who was the teacher here. She was just, I don't know what was going on in her brain here. So, but they're young. This is the immaturity problem that I think that we're having. We're having an immaturity crisis here because, in my estimation, because of feminism, because of these ladies don't know what boundaries are. School is saying it's okay. Everybody can just do their own thing. And there's just a lot of issues and a lot of situations that are going on here that ladies just don't understand, right? And one of the biggest things that people are pointing to is that they're putting off having children. Having children causes a person to mature. You got to grow up real quick to take care of some infants, some toddlers. And because a lot of times ladies are putting that off and getting a lot of clicks and likes and doing all this stuff for the gram, it wasn't. Notice what the lady said in the video, right? It wasn't, her esteem. It wasn't going to her counselors. It wasn't talking through different things. It wasn't her friends. None of that got her through her day. None of that got her through her first year of being a teacher. What got her through her year? The outfits. How childish of a mentality is that? We're talking about what happened to our women. And it's just been absolute madness. It's just been absolute madness. So, how are your kids supposed to focus on looking at that? They're not focused. They're not focused. That is for sure becoming a parent, your life no longer your own. Yeah, this is what's happening to a lot of ladies, right? They're refusing to have kids. The more education they get, that they refusing to have kids. And this is becoming a serious problem. This is becoming a serious problem. Thank you for that, Sassy Red. I really appreciate that. So what we're talking about here, since I got you guys here, y'all better hit the like button, man. Come on now. Hit the like button because I messed up. It's supposed to be for members only content. I got to do a special show for them. Members only. Let's see. And because of the actions that a lot of women are taking in this day and time, when we looked at Simone, looked at the other videos that I played, men are checking out. Men don't want anything to do with that. So let me read through this article right here, and then we'll play the real main event for the evening. This is from the New York Times. I don't even think I can read all. I don't even know if I can read all this because this is supposed to be behind the wall here. Oh, Lord, men, where have you gone? Please come back. So many men have retreated from intimacy, hiding behind. Can you guys read this? No. Men, where have you gone? Please come back. So many men have retreated from intimacy, hiding behind firewalls, filters, and curated personas, dabbling and scrolling. We miss you. These are guys not in the dating scene here. Sign up for this May 17, a warm Saturday night in Wicker Park, a vibrant stretch of Chicago where 7 restaurants crowd a single block. Troy and I were having dinner at Mama Delia, one of the quieter spots. The sidewalk patio held 5 tables, 2 tops, including ours, and a pair pulled together for a group of 8 women. At those tables, Troy was the only man. The scene was beautiful, low light, shared plates, shoulders angled in, the kind of evening people wait for all winter. Still, I found myself watching the crowd as it moved past us, women walking in pairs or alone, dressed with care. At the table after table, at the nearby restaurants, there were noticeable absence of men. At table after table, at the nearby restaurant, there were noticeable absence of men. At least men seated in what looked like dates. Troy and I both known each other for almost 20 years. We met at Playboy, wow, of all places, back when we were both learning how desire gets packaged, sold, and sometimes misunderstood. We stayed close friends, bonded by not just our opinions, but by the effort it takes to stay in someone's life. That night, we made the effort. Still, I saw unfolding around us felt like something entirely, a collective shift I couldn't see. It started to become clear the previous April when a man who had been pursuing me canceled a dinner at the last minute. There was a scheduling mix-up with some game son. I understood. I'm a hockey mom. I get it. Still, I went. I wore what I would have worn anyway. I took the table. I ordered well, and I watched the room. Only 2 tables nearby seemed to hold actual dates. The rest were groups of women or women alone, each occupying her space with quiet confidence. No shrinking, no waiting, no apologizing. That night marked something, not a heartbreak, but an unveiling. A sense of what I'd been experiencing just wasn't personal misalignment. It was something broader, cultural, a slow vanishing of presence. I spent over a decade behind a curtain of digital desire. As a custodian of records for Playboy and its affiliated hardcore properties, including sites like Spice TV, I was responsible for one of the most infringed upon adult content in the world. I worked closely with the copyright attorneys and marketing teams to understand exactly what it took to get a man to pay for content he could easily find for free. Yeah. Why are we paying for this? Why are you guys paying for that? We knew what we knew what worked. We knew how to frame a face, a gesture, a moment of implication, just enough to ignite fantasy and open a wallet. I came to understand in exact terms what cues tempt the average 18 to 36-year-old cis heterosexual man. What drew him in? What kept him coming back? It wasn't intimacy. It wasn't mutuality. It was access to stimulation, clean, fast, and frictionless. In a world there is no need for conversation, no effort, no curiosity, no reciprocity, no one's feelings to consider, no vulnerability to navigate, just a closed loop of consumption. What struck me most was the extremity of content. There's emotional vacancy behind it, the drift. What is he talking about here? I didn't read this before. Behind firewalls. I want to get to the point. I want to get to the point here. I'm 54. I've been dating since my mid 80s, been married, been a mother, gotten divorced, had many relationships, long and term and short. I remember when part of the heterosexual male culture involved showing up with a woman to signal something, status, success, desirability. Now here she's talking about something. Showing up to events with a woman on your arm for a man was certainly a sign of status, success, and desirability. When women want signifiers of value, even to other men, we talk about the ladies, how they're dressing and stuff, right? This is why men are retreating. It wasn't always healthy, but it meant that men had to show up and put in some effort. You ladies experiencing that, guys not putting in effort? That dynamic has quietly collapsed. We have moved into an era where many men no longer seek women to impress other women or to connect across difference. They perform elsewhere, alone. They have filtered us out. I recently experienced a flicker of possibility with James. Oh my God. Sexual tension. He never replied. He still follows my Instagram stories, one of those small gestures of passive engagement that so many of us now mistake for closeness. It looks like interest. It feels like silence. There are thousands of Jameses. I have known dozens. The arc varies, but the undertow is familiar. What I won't entertain is directionless orbiting. That thing is so many men now seem to mistake for connection. Just a bunch of orbiters just hanging around. The perpetual maybe, the emotion check-ins, the emoji check-ins, the casual see where it goes without ever going anywhere. We call it situationship, but mostly it's avoidance, the abdication of ownership, of feeling, of behavior, of sex that isn't a means to an end, but is communion. There was a time not so long ago when even a one-night stand might end with a tangled limbs and a shared breakfast, when the act of staying the night didn't announce a relationship, just a willingness to be human for a few hours. Well, here's the problem. You're citing the problem right here. Not even the kind of unscripted contact feels rare. We built so many boundaries that we've walled off so many moments that make connection memorable. And frankly, morning sex is often the best sex. Sometimes you even get a side of eggs before you disappear from their bed for the life forever. Well, she's absolutely exemplifying the problem here. So anyway, she's crying and complaining that the guys aren't there. She's crying and complaining about the guys aren't there and all this kind of stuff, right? I'm not going to read the rest of that. Yeah, a whole poem. I'm not doing, just get to the point. Just get to the point. All right, we're going to play the last video here, and I'm really, really mad at myself. I'm kind of in my feelings here. Dr. L, I found the video we're looking for, plus another funny one. Which one was that one, Ben? Which video was that one? Prawn Star Friends. Yeah. This must be how snag some. Yeah, long paragraph or nothing. Yeah. All this flowery word. Just get to the point. Yeah, y'all hit the like button here because I messed up and I really need the likes on this one. I'm like, why is there so many members in here? All right, I've absolutely no effort. Do not stop 3 feet before gold. Keep digging. Okay, Anthony. We have 3 whole generations of mostly men raised by women. Their emotions are going to be all over the place, and a lot of them are afraid to even try because of the failure or even legal consequences. This is the point. This is absolutely the point. This is absolutely the point. Absolutely the point. All right, Ben, please, if you're still here, you found the video I was looking for, plus another funny one, or send it to me. What video is that? I've been looking for a couple of them here. All right, so I'm going to play the video here. I'm really mad at myself here. You don't know. I'm really, really mad at myself. All right, so this is another video that was sent to me, and this is called "What Happened to Our Women." That's supposed to be the name of the stream. So if you're here for looking for if your personality is keeping you single, that's going to be tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So I'm really, really pissed off about that. You have no idea. Hit the like button, y'all. All right, so this is a video that was sent to me, and this is a guy who is asking a question: what happened to our women? I got to give him a shout out now because I'm using his stuff, and this is in front for everybody to see. All right, here we go. Let's see. Playback speed. I have not watched this video. I'm going to review it. Fair use. I'm reviewing a video for educational purposes.
Oh, I can bear almost anything as long as he has clean teeth. I look for kindness and sincerity most of all.
So if you can't see it here, it says on the other side here, 1960s. I'll try not to. I'll try not to. I told you, sometimes I made a video today. I today about getting over stuff. I didn't release it yet, but I just made it today. And so this is one thing I got to get over, right? Anthony Amby, good evening, Dr. Ellen, everyone checking in from Philly. Appreciate that, Angela. If you checked in to see if your personality is keeping you single, that's tomorrow morning. I have a special guest. I messed up. So anyway, hit the like button if you would. I would definitely appreciate it. So what's going on here is there's a comparison. They're asking ladies in the 1960s what kind of man they want. What are you looking for in a man? You know, what are you looking for in a man? And versus what's going on in 2023.
I think personality, warmth and affection for children are the main things.
I don't know, really. Physique, interest.
Do you think looks are important?
Sometimes it depends on the man.
What about money?
Money's not important.
Would you marry an ugly man?
I've married one.
What's your craziest confession?
Oh man, the day her husband saw that video right there. Who's she talking about? I didn't know she was married before me.
This guy's 20 minutes after I was his best friend. I have 3 dudes on one night, and it was the.
So now they're talking. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but he banged 3 guys on one night. Modern 2023, banged 3 guys in one night. Banged some guy within hours, I think she said, of meeting him. What did she say? She performed fellatio on this guy.
Who's she talking about? I didn't know she was married before me.
This guy's 20 minutes after I was his best friend. I have 3 dudes.
After she messed with his best friend, performed fellatio on another guy.
On one night, and it was the Natty Championships of UGA.
I beg your pardon?
The third one actually ate. The second one took him out of my so that was funny.
Hey, yo, what the?
No. I'm sorry, folks. I was not expecting this shit. What in the hell do we just get ourselves into? Should I keep playing this? For the sake of the message, okay.
They both came at me.
Hey. Where's the dad? Where's the mom?
I cheated on my boyfriend with a guy I told him not to worry about.
Okay. Yeah, I was expecting a conversation starter, but I wasn't expecting 6-course meal to go with the starter. So here we are. Yeah. What has happened to women? What has happened to women? Ladies, do you know that in the last 60 years, there has been a concerted effort to destroy you? And it has not come from the patriarchy. It has not come from those bad men. It has not come from toxic masculinity. The concerted agenda and effort to destroy you completely in all of your glory, all of your feminine radiance, has been other women. Not just any other women. It has been some of the women who are closest to you. I'm talking not just cousins and best friends and coworkers and colleagues. I'm talking about older sisters, cousins, aunties, mothers, grandmothers. Now, I'm not just going to give them all of the credit, though they deserve a lot of it. But I will say that they have been the perpetuators of what we now come to call the feminist movement. Remember that messaging of you're too young to be thinking about marriage. You know, you need to go out there and explore and have some quote unquote fun. The essentially the promotion and the glorification of promiscuity, sleeping around indiscriminately. You have to go out there and figure out what it is that you truly like. So go ahead and taste every single variety that is available to you. These are the things that you've been told. These are the words that have been uttered over and over and over for the last 60 plus years. This is what your culture has taught you. This is what your culture has endorsed. It has promoted, and it has told you is normal. And guess what? You are destroyed. Your mind is broken. Your emotions are unregulated. Your physical body, which was once a temple, has been turned into a brothel. You've been destroyed. The plan has been perfectly executed. Now, like most things, I do believe that in the inception of women's suffrage, there was a message and a cause that was for the greater good. In the same way, civil rights, right? We look back and we look at civil rights and say, that made sense. Yes, I would stand for that. But then you look 60 years later at BLM, a complete scam and a sham, and you say to yourself, what the hell happened? This is creating more disaster and destruction than it is any sort of social justice. Women have had to fight for certain rights. Absolutely. But the same movement that purports to be empowering you has been doing a bait and switch. Here's empowerment leading you to brokenness. What is it sold you as empowerment? Let's talk about this.
So to your point there, B2B, young generation can blame the generation before. Are they blaming it? Do they even recognize that there's a problem? Or are they just happy to be able to walk around doing street interviews as such and be proud of the actions that they're indulging in? Do they even think that this is a problem? Does B. Simone think it's a problem for her to talk about she doesn't want to date a 9-to-5 man and she wants to be able to come and go as she pleases? And then when she loses the money, oh, maybe that's what Ben was talking about, the video of Simone B. Simone talking about that she's now shopping at H&M instead of Bloomingdale's. I didn't even know Bloomingdale's is still around. So, not saving money, not being thrifty, not being conscientious, not understanding where her head is at, all that type of stuff, right? So, do they even recognize that? Is the older, in my estimation, it's the older generations that's the problem. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing as a 52-year-old guy, right? We got to talk to our young men. And there are some sisters out there who are talking to the young sisters. Shay Sade is one. Crimson Cure is another one. Anita from Better Love Movement, right? There's some ladies out there who are trying to hold the line and trying to say this type of stuff is not acceptable. It's disgusting, as someone put in the chat here. So, and this stuff doesn't make you wife material, but I don't think that they care. Do they actually care about becoming wife material, right? The video from the 1960s, the guy was, they asked her, would you marry an ugly man? She's like, I married one, right? She was looking at something that was more substantive than just things and stuff. And, the sexual liberation and sexual freedom that has come across of increased baby deletions and increased STD rates. This is what we're dealing with. What's happened? What's happened? People think it's cute to just do any and everything. It's just do whatever you feel and go with the flow. No, the younger generation think they are entitled. They feel like this is just the way life is supposed to be. We are the ones with the hangups. Right. And what gets me is the only reason that ladies can operate this way is because of the medical technologies of birth control, baby deletions, medications to get rid of STDs, and you've got this unchained beasts running around out here. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. These kids are everywhere doing everything for the likes. I feel we need more background content on these street girls. We probably do. I mean, that's all I have, though. I mean, you know, where they're at, you know, if they were drinking, you know, time of day, all that type of stuff. But, you know, you could be right about that. Honestly, a lack of God and purpose. Could be.
Let's talk about empowerment. What is it soju is supposed to make you more autonomous, give you personal power, right? Because power is the ability to, that's how it's broken down etymologically. Power is the ability, I am able to do X, Y, Z. I'm able to exert myself on the external world and create change. So they've said that empowerment, they've said that empowerment comes through you opening your legs up indiscriminately for whatever man in order to gratify your own insecurities. So you, in an effort to feel good about yourself, give yourself over to somebody who cares nothing about you, giving up the thing that is sacred within you, the ability to procreate, to a random whoever. Your emotions are then impacted. Your mental state is impacted. Your physical is compromised. And they tell you that you have been empowered. You've been duped. You've been gamed. You've been bamboozled. You've been hustled. You've been hoodwinked. That's what the hell has gone on. The bait and switch, like a shell game. Here's empowerment. Here's a liberation. These are the sort of innuendos, the sort of words that they use.
Why do you think that is? A lot of women in their 20s think that marriage is a prison. I mean, I've heard that too. I'm curious to know why these ladies think that. Has it always been a prison? And I'm not insensitive to that type of conversation. You know, when the U.S. went in and did what they did in some Middle Eastern countries and democracy showed up, a lot of women left their husbands. 1960s, you know, after you know, the institution of no-fault divorces increased 700%. Were men really that bad? And if that's the case, I think that's something the men ought to look at themselves and say, listen, how come these women don't want to marry us? You know, this gender war that we have going on here is really problematic. I don't know if we'll ever get to the genesis of it, for the origin of it, the originations of it, but it's really bad, and it's causing some serious downfalls and issues and problems, particularly for those of us who are going to get old. Who's going to take care of us, right? And these ladies today who are in their 20s don't want to get married, not going to have children, something like by 2030, and I've heard that number's been moved up. 50% of ladies will be single and childless. That's 50%. What does that do to the population? Who's going to be the nurses and teachers, and who's going to be sitting in the classrooms? And it's a problem. It's a problem. It's not a president's or responsibility. It's the government that makes it like a prison. There's some truth to that. I definitely would like to get married again, but and I don't want to think about getting out of it. But if things go wrong, can't get out of it. And I was watching a video the other day about a guy who was talking about he was living in Thailand and he had a couple of Thai girlfriends who really, really wanted to get married. And when he was talking to his friends, other American friends, maybe he was Australian. He was either Australian American or American. And when he was talking to them about how it was being married to a Thai girl, right? There was a serious language barrier, even though a lot of them spoke English. The nuances, like the sarcasm, the all that is missing, right? The context and all that is missing. So you could be saying something, and their facial expressions may be saying something different. This is a problem with second language speakers, and he's living in the country, right? So their friends and family weren't able to pick up on things, and even though he spoke Thai, I'm talking about the friend of the video I was watching, he couldn't really, they couldn't really make it work and mesh. And so for him to just get out of that marriage in Thai was just as hard as getting out of a marriage in America. It was a good video. So these passport bros, they think they're going to go over there and get whatever. And ain't always the case. You might be just as stuck, just as trapped in a government institution that is difficult to get out of as anyone else. So, there are a lot of men in their 20s who want to get married. Probably not. Probably not. No. But I think that, guys got to be 30, 35 to really get married, to figure out who he is, and to, really establish himself financially, get the young immaturity out of his system, So look at it this way. All but 1 in 5 of my Greek siblings are married. Most of my girl cousins are on Black BB's side, on my black side, are single. 1 in 5 of my Greek siblings are married. Most of my girl cousins on my black side are single. Well, 1 in 5 isn't a really good number, right? And then later they start thinking it would be nice to have a husband. Yeah. A mentor group that we all trying to teach them to be a lady, not just a woman. I've seen seen 1 or 2 YouTubers trying to do that. Social media, everything changed once people discovered they could publicly voice their opinion. Publicly voice their opinion, and they could publicly get social approval and clicks and likes and get their dopamine hits from that, rather than one person telling them that they love them, that they're beautiful. Now they get it from everyone. That's a huge problem. Why get married, right? Why have a boyfriend when I could just post a picture and just tell me and just have 1,000 people tell me I'm beautiful? That's a problem.
Use and replacement. They don't tell you that, oh, you're traumatizing yourself. You're destroying yourself. We have this epidemic of therapy now and self-help, personal development, and loving yourself, self-love movement. We have all this going on. Yet at the core of it, it could have just been a very, very simple preventative solution, which is don't give yourself away. Don't devalue yourself in such a way. Have some respect for yourself. Those girls, and I call them what they are, those little girls right there, walking around in public in bras, that is something I want to point out, is to even say how they dress. And somebody say, well, that's winter, that's summer. There's always excuses for people trying to cover up their 304-ness, right? On one side, you have women, and maybe that's the difference. I don't know how old they are. Folks were looking older back in the day. They weren't drinking enough water. That's what the studies say. This woman could have been 18, 19, who knows? But anyway, they're dressed. And some of the answers are the same. She said physique, but I'm with the argument now. Money. Now, these little girls right here, look at this. Everything hanging out. Nothing left of the imagination. The reason I show you that is to remind you that it wasn't always like this. As a matter of fact, go back a few decades ago, it was not like this. This has been a concerted effort through media, which is all mediums. That's messaging on, written messaging, some of the books that women are exposed to and read, diabolical stuff. It has been through audio. It has been through mostly visual, and what they continue to sell you, and now through social media avenues, which has been the fuel on the damn fire. This thing has gone gangbusters. This thing has gone international, and it's seeped into young women. And it breaks my heart to see it, because it's kind of like if you see somebody who consumes sugar all day, every day, and if they just remove that, they would lose the weight. They would eradicate half of the diseases that are created through lifestyle. But you just watch them doing it, and you're like, the solution is so simple. These young women here, the solution is so simple. Lean into your femininity, the aspects of you. The reason you have to get drunk, the reason you got to get drunk in order to do certain things or get out of your mind, or you got to trick yourself, is because your whole body, your system is telling you no. It's saying no. A woman needs to feel connected. She needs to feel bonded. She needs to feel emotionally safe in order to open up. So she does things to lower her inhibition in order to just give herself that way. Why do you think it is that real life 304 streetwalkers, they're almost always on some sort of sedatives, drugs? They have something that they're taking in order to go to that place, because they couldn't naturally go there.
There are books and articles that written by women teaching women the techniques of how to have sex with a man and not be bonded to him, not look him in the eye, and other techniques. I'm not exactly sure all of them. I just know that that's one of the techniques. So, because of the chemicals that are released by women when you have sex, in particular when you have the big O, there's pair bonding chemicals that are released, and in order to continue to move like a man and to trick your evolutionary biology, they are They engage in this type of things to defeat the mechanism. So take that for what it is. Think about that.
The feminine in you desires to have that protector, provider. It desires it. And you've been told that you don't need no man. I don't need no this. I don't need no that. So we just go ahead, just get a donor. Oh, you want to have a baby? Get a donor. That's what you've been told. And for too long, we as men have been told, no, you can't talk about this. No, you can't talk about, you're a man. You can't talk about women's issues. The hell we can and we should. And part of the biggest problem is the fact that daddy has not been in the household telling you what you need to hear. Pops was not in the house telling you what you need to hear, but more importantly, showing you and loving on you. A father's love could make up for all of this. Tomorrow it would be eradicated. So that's where fellas kick in. Because some ladies saying, well, what about the men? What about the men? I'll tell you where the men come in. To be the best father you can be, to choose women discriminately, to be intentional, to not be led by the physical, because that's what has created that dynamic. It's not just a one-way street. This ain't the blame games. No, you got the Hunger Games and you got the damn blame games. As men, we have to choose with discernment, understanding, and wisdom. We have to choose not from the little head, but the big head. And when we choose, we have to be choosing not just that woman and who she is today, but who is she going to be tomorrow, the next day, 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 the next day. Is this going to be the woman to raise my children? Because I'll tell you something, that big old booty, them big old bitties are not going to raise your kids.
That's one thing a lot of men are afraid of, particularly when getting married, is the bait and switch. And I often quote Happy Wife School, who talks about it. You know, these ladies, in particular, when they've gone through exactly the things that this guy's talking about. You've dressed crazy, you've had a bunch of sex with a bunch of dudes, all this different type of pair bonding problems that are coming up, and then you want to get a dude, and you're going to settle down with a guy who's got money, not really into him like that, and then next thing you know, a guy is trapped in a relationship that he seems like he can't get out of. So that's a huge problem that men are very concerned about. That's why a lot of guys don't want a woman who's been around. They don't want to get tricked. They don't want to bait and switch. They don't want to become the secondhand guy. They don't want none of that. They want to be the top dog. They want to know that they're the best version, best man that you could have got. That's what they want to know. That's what they want to feel. And they want to feel that way, not just in year 1, but in year 10, year 20, and year 30. That's the way they want to feel. The beautiful and classic Felicia Rashad Dresser, concerned about the young girl she observed in a recent video visit to college, was bashed by social media. Monique was bashed. Listen, they bash them. They bash them all the time. It's really a shame.
How fine she is not going to raise your kids. Her personality, her value system, the way in which she moves through life is. And so you got to make those decisions. And you got to be the man who is able to, because you can't just walk up out here, you have to work. You have to build yourself into the man necessary. And money is a byproduct, but it is the least important when it comes to the things that I'm speaking on right now. Money is important for the things it's important for, but it cannot raise your baby girl. You can't pay enough money to stop her from becoming a streetwalker. You have to love her into that position. And a mother who is safe and secure, a mother who feels secure, who doesn't then give herself over to emotionality and then does the very same thing and leads her daughter into the very same path to hell. I believe in us as a collective, as humans. I really do. I believe we could find ourselves back in a place where morals mean something, values mean something. Women want to dress up. You know, there was a time where bathing suits, like they were actual bathing suits. They weren't these bikini skimp little, you got to floss up your crack. You got these 2 little patches on the tatas. There was a time when women were dressed. There was modesty in the culture. Oh, but they were doing this and they were doing that. Yeah, of course, all that stuff existed. Absolutely, it still existed. But guess what? The culture did not value those things. It did not pedestalize those things. To be a man, to be a stand-up man, to take care of your family, those are things that you were to be proud of. And that was propaganda being pushed too. Don't get that twisted. There was an initiative by the American government to push pro-American value, virtue propaganda, to have people create a sense of pride in the place that they were and in their communities, in their households as individuals, and to move that way. Now, every single image is of a young woman busting it wide open for any dude, of a young man looking to sleep with as many chicks as he can to validate his quote-unquote masculinity. I believe we can find ourselves back there, but we have to start here, which is to be honest about it, to continue to have the conversation. The messaging has to be perpetual. That's why I put out so much content. Some people, well, we already talked about that. How many times have you heard the message of go out there and be promiscuous, go out there and be a 3 or 4? How many messages have been sent? Tens, if not hundreds of thousands? So it's our job to be the contrast, be the opposite, the opposing voices to those.
All right, I'm going to leave it up there. So I mean, I certainly appreciate this guy's message, and here's my philosophy about how we fix this exact problem. How we fix this problem is by making sure that the men don't select those types of women. We got to raise better, stronger men. The other day I had Dr. B and Lamar on the show, and we were talking about, what the women are doing wrong. And it inevitably, it always comes back to what the men are doing. And men lead the way. And who are men selecting for? And I agree with a lot of that. The men, unfortunately, are going to select for these type of, if a woman is dressing scantily, she's got her tatas out, she's sleeping around, the guys are going to do it. Like moth to a flame, they're going to do it. So we have to really instill in men this idea that where you park your little wee at is really going to be important, because the women are being incentivized. They're being taught this in school. He's right. The media that they're consuming, from the Glorrillas that was put up in here, from the Glorrillas to the videos, to B. Simone, to all the right. The idea is to chase the bag, chase the money, chase the fame, chase that. And it's going to be difficult to really overcome that. And the only way to overcome that is, as in the New York article that I read, New York Times article. One of the ways to overcome that is to recognize that there is no pot at the end of the rainbow. You can't go around sleeping around your whole life and then expect to get a decent man later on in life or have children. But they don't seem to care about that. That's the issue. They don't care. They think marriage is a prison, as you all have said. They think that being tied down to one person is wrong. They see no problem with sleeping one dude and performing fellatio on another dude. They don't see no problem with it. So we're going to keep beating our head against the wall. And I appreciate the ladies who are doing something about it. The Felicia Rashad's, the Anitas, the Shay Chardays, the Crimson Cure, and every other woman out there who's telling ladies to be respectful of themselves. But as long as the narrative and as the money is there, then that's going to be a problem. You know what's going to help? And I don't mean this in a really, really nasty way, but think about the 106,000 Black women who lost their jobs. That type of thing is sobering. That's why you need a steady foundation of family. Think about B. Simone, who spent up all of her money, not all of it, but now is forced to, whatever she spent up, whatever she was doing, she was living for today, right? The whole ant and grasshopper philosophy, right? I'm going to live for today. And damn, tomorrow I'm gonna, eat, sleep, and be merry, all this kind of stuff. And they don't think about what the future holds. But there is a future. So we got to raise stronger men who are going to make better decisions about what they're doing. And the strong men who are leaders, guiders, mentors, got to make better selections. If you continue to sleep with these women, continue to support them through OnlyFans, you continue to cheer them on as they dress nastily, then that's a problem. But unfortunately, it's not until they get older that they realize how big of a problem that this is. So we need fathers to be present to tell these ladies how to dress, how to be, how to conduct themselves. And until they get that, it's going to be an issue. 29 likes, 55 watching. Hit the like button. Really, really appreciate it. These new generations are also fluid with their sensuality. They're fluid with everything. Fluid with their sensuality, gender fluid. They're also seeking company of the same sex rather than take a chance in the opposite sex. I think that's confusing them and blurring relationship lines. From what I see, they have and anything goes mentality as long as it's easy and brings money. This is what I'm saying. So, yeah. Y'all hit the like button. If you want to buy me some lunch, I would really appreciate it. I went to lunch today. So I am going to leave it off there. I do appreciate it. Listen, I'm still kind of mad at myself. I'm getting over it. I'm less mad. I just got to go in here and set all this up again. So this is what happened to our women, right? So we're trying to figure out the complexity of the problem of what happened to our women. What went wrong from the 1960s to this modern time of women being in street interviews, being on dating apps, swiping and getting knocked down that same night. One night stands all over the place. The rise of HIV, the rise in STDs, the lowering of the bar, the lowering of standards, the lowering of marriageable women. Men would rather sit at home playing their video games than date these type of women. They're not going to bars, not going to clubs. And again, this is not a strictly an American phenomenon, right? I went over at least 2 different videos about Chinese culture that's doing the same thing. They don't want that either. They don't want that, right? So men have to stand up and say, men have to stand up. Men of all ages have to stand up and say, I don't want this type of thing. I don't want this type of thing. I don't need this type of thing. I don't like this type of thing, right? And as long as ladies are confusing sex with love, oh, this guy, I can get any man I want. I can sleep with this guy. You may be a 4 or a 5 on the socio dating scale. That may be what and who you are and able to get for one night. But can you get this guy for long term? And what does it take to get him? What are the qualifications that it takes to get this type of man? Can you cook? Can you clean? Are you nurturing? Are you nice? Are you friendly? Are you able to hold a conversation? Are you intelligent? Can you manage a home? Can you manage your life? Can you manage your finances? Are you responsible? These are things that men are looking for in relationships. But again, if they're not looking for relationships because they get their social validation from social media, if they get their social validation from one night stands, they get their social validation from their friends who tell them, yeah, you go, girl, you don't got to do this. Then the words of gray bearded dudes and old guys just seem old fashioned. They don't care. So a lot of times the guys are like, I don't care. They're going to sit home and play video games. They're going to become passport bros. They're going to completely check out. They're going to go monk. Thank you so much for that, Miles, with the super sticker, $4.99 super sticker. Really, really appreciate it. The CDC released an urgent plea to Black people recently. AIDS is affecting 50% of Black population right now. The age group hit worse is 15 to 35. Okay, I got to see that study. If you would, send that to me. 50% of Black people. 50% of Black. I got to see that. I got to see that. Yeah, we all got to call our daughters. As Chris Rock used to say, I got to keep my daughter off the pole. I keep my daughter off the pole. So hit the like button, subscribe, share, join the members only. I do want to do members only this week. You guys interested in talking about the Iran situation? I was going to do that last night, but I was like, I don't know if these guys want to watch that. Also on my other channel, I talked about this before. My other channel, I've changed the name of it from LMH Consulting Services to Dr. L's Breakdown. I'm breaking down more police-related videos. I think I'm going to move all political stuff over there. So, Dr. L, I heard you say once, is this man for fun or for the future? You know, I think that both people approach, both genders, both sexes, whatever, approach it from that angle. I'm quite sure that the ladies are looking like this guy over here. You know, he may be a pookie, but I'll sleep with him for a little while. And then try to go get me a nice guy. The problem with that is the problem with women doing that. And this is not me saying that. These are neurologists saying this. These are people with more expertise. My background's in criminal justice. I read what they're saying. They're all saying that chemicals are released within the brain when you have sex with a man, particularly when you have the big O. There's chemicals released when you have babies, right? Physical response. There's physical responses, right? These are bonding chemicals. Breastfeeding and all that kind of stuff. These are bonding chemicals that go on. So women are trying to defeat that. So you think you can go over and sleep with a Pookie or Ray. You think you can go over there and do that, and you won't become or have a friends with benefit and think you won't become emotionally attached. And there are books and articles trying to convince you that you can do this and not become attached, or giving you techniques so you won't become attached. I guess the jury's out on whether it'll actually work or not. But then you want to bring that trauma, that bonding, that inability to bond with a new person, or more difficult bonding with a new person, to a new guy. That's the problem. But you think you can move like men? I think a lot of the gender war has to do with you didn't like what you don't like. You're mad at God, essentially. I think you're mad at nature, mad at God. Call it what you want. Mad at the universe, whatever you want, however you want to say it. Not you all, but I think that was the genesis of the problem. They didn't like they were weaker. Didn't like they were not as, let me put it like this, not as strong as men, and other physical characteristics, weren't able to move about and go about in the world as men because it was dangerous, because you needed the man to protect you. Of course, financially, you couldn't own your own bank accounts. I think that was kind of wild. Why were you stopping them from doing that? But I think there was just a lot of that going on, and now the brakes have been taken off from the sexual marketplace to, all the other stuff we talked about. And now it's like, wow, you live your life and live it to the best of your abilities, but what's it going to mean for the future? What's it going to mean for enterprise? What's it going to mean for society? What's it going to mean for Black culture? What's it going to mean? What's it going to mean? And not only that, not only have a lot of ladies picked up those types of behaviors, but they've cast off the previous behaviors and demand that men keep those previous behaviors of the 1960 man and include more. So a man today's got to be able to cook, clean, sew, keep a home, be a protector, provider, but the ladies don't have to do nothing. It seems that way. Down bad as a culture. The respect for women are in church. Why can't men see that? I hope you're right about that, fellas. Yeah, 50% seems kind of crazy. Let's see. Fastest ceasefire ever seen. I was miserable because I was on the opposite end of the country with a narcissist for a roommate. I was alone and isolated in a city that mostly hates Black people. Oh, that can be a problem. Yeah, oxytocin. Yeah. You may be right about that. I think it's done during that. It's been a while since I read those articles. I read them a while, probably last year or so. I think bonding should become before sex. We should have saved a lot of heartbreak. You're right about that. That's for men and women. You're right about that. There's too much free sex out here, and it's causing a lot of heartbreak. All right, so we're gonna try to do a show at the end. Maybe Friday. Tomorrow, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Actually, no, tomorrow night I was gonna do a show on my other channel. I wanted to start building up my other channel. If you're interested in police stuff, more political stuff, I'm gonna start talking about that and Dr. L's breakdown, my other channel. That's so tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock is what this show is supposed to be. Is your personality keeping you single? I have a guest speaker for that. Jeez. Maybe I'll do a show tomorrow night. We'll see. Thursday at 6 or so is Yoli, our very own Yoli. And maybe Friday, I'll do a members only stream. Hopefully I won't mess that up. So crazy. Put both links in the chat. All right, hold on. I got to go out of here. Hold on a second here. I can't see the links that you put in here, Ben. I can't see them. Man, I really messed that up. Hit the like button. There's 32 likes in here. Hit the like button. Do me a favor, Ben. Send them to me via email because I can't see them. So. All right, y'all. So, and also those CDC numbers about the rates of HIV and all that, please send them to me. Hit the like button on your way out. My sincerest apologies if you clicked in to see the personality video that's coming up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So we will do a members only video. I meant this to be members only, but I clicked on the wrong thing. So, all right, y'all. Take care. Have a great night. Much love and peace.